Hello everybody. Today we will be comparing Microsoft PC Manager and Glary Utilities 6 to see which one of these cleanup and optimization tools are better in 2026. We will be comparing idle CPU and RAM utilization as well as Geekbench scores to see which tool does a better job compared to the clean and bloated system. So, let's get right into it. I decided to use a virtual machine because it's much easier to revert after testing the optimization tools. For the clean system, I used a fresh install of Windows 11 25H2 with 4 cores, 8 GB of RAM, and 64 GB of storage. As you can see in Task Manager, the CPU utilization hovered around 0 to 10%, which is pretty low. RAM utilization, however, was all the way at 2.8 GB, which really shows how much is pre-installed even with a fresh version of Windows. After that, I ran Geekbench and got a score of 982 in single-core and 2616 in multi-core. Obviously, that's a pretty terrible score in the grand scheme of things, but this is the baseline score that we will compare the cleanup tools to. Moving on to the bloated system, which has the same specs, you can see that the CPU utilization was pretty high with all the apps running and the RAM was really high at 5.5 GB. This is to be expected though, because I went and downloaded a lot of popular apps that most people download and a lot of them ran in the background. Now, you might be asking why someone might use optimization tools like Glary Utilities or Microsoft PC Manager, considering that Windows has a bunch of built-in tools to help you deal with that. For example, most of the utilities offer a disk cleanup tool that will look for temporary files and delete them. However, Windows Disk Cleanup utility is built in and works just as well. Most of them also have startup management utilities as well, but Task Manager's Startup Apps menu does the exact same thing. Some people simply don't want to go through all these menus when they can simply download an app like CCleaner or PC Manager and have it optimize in the background. It's important to be cautious when downloading these applications, though. Sometimes they can optimize too much and break some parts of your system, so you should make sure to see what it is optimizing before clicking Optimize. The bloated system has a Geekbench score of 780 in single-core and 1988 in multi-core. That's about a 200-point difference in single-core and nearly a 700-point difference in multi-core. With a powerful PC, it may not mean much for everyday tasks and even some intensive ones, but you will start to notice the difference in things like startup times and the performance when pushing your PC to its absolute limit. To test Microsoft PC Manager, I downloaded it from the Microsoft Store and ran it for the first time on the bloated system. The first thing it did was to try and reset some of my settings back to the default in case there was an issue with things like the taskbar. After that, it loaded to the main page. Microsoft PC Manager has a feature called PC Boost, which can remove temporary files and reduce RAM usage to clear up resources for intensive tasks and keep your system clean. Smart Boost allows it to run this in the background whenever your RAM usage is high or if you have a lot of temporary files. It also has a deep cleanup function which also clears browser cache and other non-essential temporary files. After running PC Boost, Deep Cleanup, turning off startup items that it recommended, and also doing a health check, I then checked the system utilization. The CPU was idling at about 10 to 30%, which was an improvement over the bloated system. RAM utilization was the exact same as the clean system, 2.8 GB. After that, I ran Geekbench and got a score of 826 in single-core and 2260 in multi-core. Clearly, Microsoft PC Manager was able to improve the score from the bloated system, but it was not able to bring it all the way up to the score of the fresh install. Finally, let's move on to Glary Utilities 6. This tool is well regarded for being an all-in-one solution to PC maintenance. Like PC Manager, it also has its own one-click automatic maintenance feature, which does a pretty good job of cleaning up the system. However, if you ever want to clean your PC thoroughly, Glary Utilities offers many tools to help with this. For example, it has Disk Cleanup, which can look through almost every part of your system to make sure that no temporary files get left out. Registry Repair can find unnecessary registry entries from programs that you may have uninstalled, but you should use this one more cautiously as accidentally deleting an important registry key could cause your computer to break. Glary Utilities also has a startup manager, memory optimizer, and defragging utilities. There are many other features as well, but I won't go into those in this video. After running the utilities cleanup features, we can see that the VM got a score of 899 in single-core and 2559 in multi-core. This is a big improvement even over Microsoft PC Manager, which means that its deep cleanup features are certainly helping. So, what's the conclusion? Well, if you just want a lean optimization app that takes care of things in the background and can keep your system clean, then Microsoft PC Manager is the way to go. Otherwise, if you want a utility that can really get into the guts of your system to thoroughly clean it, you should use Glary Utilities. However, a clean system install is always the best option for maximum performance. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.